The morning bowl that wore my kidneys down. I used to believe my morning bowl of oatmeal was the smartest choice I could ever make. Warm, comforting, full of fiber, the perfect way to love my heart and start my day right. Until one morning, my doctor looked me in the eyes and said quietly, "Your kidneys are getting tired every single day." I laughed at first. How could something as healthy as oatmeal be a problem? I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. My breakfast was wholesome oats, milk, and a banana. It was my little ritual of self-care. But the truth was harder to swallow than any breakfast I'd ever had. What I didn't know was that, after 60, our kidneys start to lose some of their strength, and what used to nourish me in my 40 seconds and 50 seconds was now silently wearing me down. Every spoonful of that heart-healthy meal was quietly loading my body with phosphorus, potassium, and protein nutrients that, for aging kidneys, are no longer harmless. Phosphorus that can steal calcium from bones, potassium that can disrupt your heartbeat, protein that can slowly exhaust your filters, the organs that have worked faithfully for decades. I realized I wasn't the only one. Many people over 60 start every morning with oatmeal, believing it's the safest, smartest, most comforting choice. But for our kidneys, that same habit can quietly become a daily strain. Understanding oatmeal's benefits and hidden risks. Before we talk about the mistakes, let's be fair to oatmeal. It's not the villain here. For most of my life, I truly believed it was the reason I stayed healthy. A warm bowl in the morning, the gentle aroma of oats rising with steam. It felt like self-love in its simplest form. And to be honest, in many ways, it was. It's comforting, easy to make, and feels like a hug from the inside, especially for those of us who've lived long enough to appreciate a quiet, peaceful morning. That's why I never questioned it. How could something so wholesome, so simple, ever hurt me? But that's where the story gets complicated, especially when you're past 60. You see, as we age, our kidneys naturally lose some of their filtering power. They become like old water filters, still functional, still reliable, but slower. And when those filters slow down, the same nutrients that once helped us can start to build up instead. Here's what I didn't realize then. A half cup of dry oats already contains around 166 milligrams of phosphorus and 147 milligrams of potassium, numbers that mean little until your kidneys can no longer handle excess minerals efficiently. Add milk, bananas, nuts, or protein powder, and suddenly, you've doubled or even tripled the load your kidneys have to process. Phosphorus can pull calcium out of your bones, making them weaker. Potassium can disrupt your heart rhythm. And protein, even in modest amounts, can push already tired kidneys to work overtime. But the danger isn't dramatic. It doesn't happen overnight. It's slow, subtle, and silent. You won't feel pain. You might just feel a bit more tired than usual, a bit more swollen, a bit more off, and by the time your doctor notices it in your blood work, some damage may already be done. That realization hit me like a quiet wave of truth. Not to fear food, but to respect how my body has changed. The oatmeal that once fueled me in my 40 seconds now needed to be adjusted for my 60 seconds. So no, oatmeal isn't the enemy. It's still one of the most comforting, nourishing breakfasts you can enjoy. But for your kidneys, how you prepare it matters just as much as what's in it. The kind of milk you use, the toppings you add, the portion you eat, all of these choices decide whether your bowl will heal you or slowly harm you. Hashon. Cooking oatmeal with cow's milk. If you're anything like me, you probably think milk makes everything better. For years, I believed that a bowl of oatmeal simmered in warm cow's milk was the gold standard of healthy eating. It was creamy, comforting, and packed with calcium, or so I thought. Every morning, I'd watch the milk bubble, stirring slowly, proud of myself for starting the day right. But one day, my body told me otherwise. It began with something small, a kind of tiredness that coffee couldn't fix. Then came the swelling in my ankles, the heaviness after every meal, At first, I blamed age, the weather, anything but breakfast. It wasn't until a regular checkup that my doctor sat me down and showed me the numbers. My phosphorus and potassium levels were high, and my kidneys were showing signs of strain. He asked me, "What do you usually eat for breakfast?" I smiled, almost proudly. "Oatmeal with milk and banana. Every day." He nodded slowly. The kind of nod that says, "That's exactly what I expected." That was the moment I learned something that changed the way I saw food forever. Cow's milk, the very thing I thought was strengthening my bones, was quietly tiring my kidneys every single morning. You see, cow's milk naturally contains high amounts of phosphorus and potassium, two minerals that the kidneys must filter out. When you're young, that's not a problem, but after 60, when your kidneys are working at half the efficiency they used to, that creamy milk doubles the workload. And because it's liquid, it hits the bloodstream fast. What feels like comfort to your tongue can be stress to your kidneys. Think about it this way. Your kidneys are like two faithful workers who've been on duty for over 6 decades. They've filtered every drop of blood, every meal, every choice you've ever made. Now, imagine giving them an extra shift every morning without pay or rest. That's what a bowl of milk-cooked oats does for aging kidneys. It's not that milk is bad. It's just that it no longer matches the body you have today. Your kidneys aren't as young as they once were, and your diet shouldn't pretend they are. When I switched from cow's milk to water or unsweetened almond milk, something changed. Within weeks, the bloating eased, the swelling faded, and my energy began to return. I started flavoring my oatmeal with cinnamon, apple slices, or a hint of vanilla instead of relying on milk and banana for sweetness. The difference was subtle at first, but real, like a fog slowly lifting. And that's the truth I wish someone had told me earlier. It's not about giving up the foods you love. It's about loving your body enough to adapt. Because sometimes, even the healthiest habit can become harmful if it's not tailored to where you are in life. Mistake #2. High potassium and high phosphorus toppings. Once I stopped cooking my oats with cow's milk, I thought I'd solved the problem. I proudly swapped milk for almond milk and told myself, now it's perfect. But a few months later, the same tiredness crept back, a kind of fatigue that made mornings feel heavier than they should. It didn't make sense. I was eating healthy, right? Then I looked down at my breakfast one morning and finally saw the truth staring back at me. My bowl wasn't as innocent as it looked. I had built what I like to call my power bowl. There is very card, and there was no where within tapeted. Rolled oats, cooked in almond milk, topped with half a banana, a spoonful of peanut butter, a sprinkle of raisins, and a handful of walnuts. It looked like a commercial for clean living, golden, colorful, full of texture. But underneath that beauty was a silent overload of potassium and phosphorus. I didn't know it then, but that morning ritual was forcing my kidneys to work like overclocked engines. Bananas, nuts, and dried fruit are packed with potassium and phosphorus, both wonderful for young, healthy bodies, but heavy burdens for aging kidneys. A friend of mine, Ellen, learned this lesson the hard way. At 70, she was one of the healthiest people I knew. She walked every morning, took no medication, and loved her super oatmeal just like I did. But after a few months of daily bowls topped with banana slices and peanut butter, she started having muscle cramps and strange heart palpitations. When her doctor ran tests, her potassium levels were through the roof. It wasn't her heart, her blood pressure, or her medication. It was breakfast. That realization hit both of us like a shock. How could something so natural be so wrong? Because the truth is, even nature's gifts can become harmful when your body changes but your habits don't. When kidneys slow down, they can't filter out potassium and phosphorus quickly enough. So these minerals start to accumulate in your blood. Too much potassium can disrupt your heartbeat, and too much phosphorus can weaken your bones and damage your blood vessels. It's like slowly pouring sand into an hourglass that never empties one day. It overflows. Ellen changed her routine, and so did I. She swapped bananas for thinly sliced apples or blueberries. She replaced peanut butter with a dash of cinnamon or nutmeg for flavor. And she learned to treat nuts and dried fruit like spices, not staples, sprinkling just a few pieces now and then, not handfuls. Within weeks, her cramps disappeared, her heartbeat steadied, and her energy returned. I followed her lead and noticed the same thing. My mornings felt lighter again, and I didn't crash by noon. It's amazing how such small changes can make such a big difference once you understand what your body needs now, not what it needed 20 years ago. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Healthy doesn't always mean harmless. Bananas, raisins, and nuts are good foods, just not good for kidneys that are slowing down. So the next time you reach for a topping, pause for a second. Ask yourself, is this bowl helping me? Or is it quietly adding weight my body can't carry anymore? Sometimes, the smallest spoonful can make the biggest difference. And even when you've chosen the right toppings, there's another trap, waiting, one that hides behind convenience, colorful labels, and the promise of instant health. That's what I discovered next. Mistake #3. Instant or flavored oats. If there's one thing we all love as we get older, it's simplicity. Less mess, less time in the kitchen. That's why, after my doctor told me to be more careful with oatmeal, I decided to simplify. No toppings, no milk, just a quick, easy packet of instant oats. Tear, pour, add hot water, and done. It felt smart. Efficient. After all, the box said heart healthy, whole grain, natural flavor. How could that possibly go wrong? But a few months later, my ankles began to swell again. I felt heavy after breakfast. My blood pressure crept higher. I thought maybe it was stress or maybe just age, until one day I met Harold. Harold was a 72-year-old widower who came to my local walking group every morning. He was quiet, polite, and always carried a little thermos of something warm. When I asked what he was drinking, he smiled proudly and said, "Oatmeal, instant, maple and brown sugar. Doctor says oats are good for the heart, right?" He was right, oats are good for the heart. But the kind he was eating wasn't the same thing. A few weeks later, Harold missed our morning walk. When I saw him again, he was thinner, paler, slower. He told me he'd been in the hospital for fluid retention and shortness of breath. His blood tests showed high phosphate levels and declining kidney function, and when his dietitian looked at his pantry, the answer was sitting right there. Those tiny, colorful packets of instant oatmeal. You see, what makes instant oats so instant isn't magic. It's processing and additives. Most instant or flavored oat packets are loaded with sodium for taste, phosphate additives to preserve texture, and sweeteners to make them deliciously addictive. These inorganic phosphates aren't like the natural kind in whole foods. They're absorbed by your body almost 100%, causing phosphorus levels in your blood to spike. For kidneys that already filter slowly, it's like turning up the pressure in an old water pipe. Sooner or later, something gives. And the worst part? The packaging doesn't warn you clearly. It just says added minerals or flavoring. So, while Harold thought he was eating a heart-healthy breakfast, he was unknowingly overloading his kidneys every single morning. When he switched to plain rolled oats cooked on the stove, no packets, no additives, everything changed. He flavored them himself with fresh apple, cinnamon, and a drizzle of honey. In just a few weeks, his swelling reduced, his breathing improved, and his doctor smiled for the first time in months. It wasn't medicine that helped him. It was awareness. When I heard his story, I went home and looked through my own pantry. Sure enough, there they were, boxes of instant oats I thought were harmless. I tossed them out that day. Since then, I've learned that slow food often saves you more than just time, it saves your health. Mistake #4. Large portions or eating too often. After fixing my cooking method and ditching instant oats, I felt like I'd finally cracked the code. No milk, no banana, No flavored packets, just wholesome, plain oatmeal, made with care. I was proud of myself. So proud, in fact, that I started eating it every single morning. It keeps me full, I told myself. It's healthy, it's safe. Why not have it every day? And for a while, it seemed fine, until it wasn't. It started with fatigue, that same slow, creeping tiredness I thought I'd already conquered. Then came the swelling again, this time in my hands. And during my next checkup, my doctor frowned. My phosphorus was rising, potassium was up again, and my kidney filtration rate had dropped slightly. I was stunned. I had done everything right. So, why was my body still complaining? My doctor smiled gently and said something I'll never forget. Even water can drown you if you drink too much of it. That line hit me like thunder. I realized that I had replaced an unhealthy habit with an excessively healthy one, and that's just another form of imbalance. It's my secret, he said. Keeps me full till lunch. But after a year, his body started showing signs of strain. Swollen feet, breathlessness on short walks, and exhaustion that wouldn't go away. Tests revealed exactly what you'd expect. His kidneys were overworked, even though his diet was perfect. His doctor explained it simply. Our kidneys aren't designed for monotony. They thrive on balance, on variation and rest. Eating the same heavy meal every single day, no matter how healthy, creates silent overload. Robert made the change. He reduced his portion to half a cup of dry oats and began alternating his breakfasts. Some mornings, oatmeal with apple and cinnamon. Other mornings, soft rice porridge with vegetables. Occasionally, yogurt with berries or toast with avocado. Within 3 months, his energy returned. His swelling disappeared. And for the first time in years, he felt truly light again. That's when I finally understood. Healthy food is not just about what you eat, it's about how much and how often. We live in a world obsessed with consistency. Eat the same thing every day. Keep it simple. But your body doesn't want routine. It wants rhythm. A rhythm of nourishment, rest, and change. So, if oatmeal is your favorite breakfast, keep it just not every day. Give your kidneys a pause. They deserve rest days too, because even the best foods, eaten too often, can turn from medicine to burden. And as I soon discovered, the real danger isn't always in what's on your plate. It's sometimes in the label on the box. Mistake #5. Skipping labels and hidden ingredients. You'd think by now I would have learned everything there was to know about oatmeal. I had changed the milk, dropped the toppings, avoided the instant packets, and even reduced my portions. But one day, I made a discovery that reminded me how easy it is to be fooled, even when you think you're doing everything right. It happened during a grocery trip. I was standing in front of a shelf filled with colorful bags labeled organic granola, natural oats, and healthy clusters. I picked one up, scanned the front, and smiled. Whole grains, no refined sugar, baked with love. It sounded perfect, the kind of wholesome product you'd proudly show your doctor. But something made me pause. I turned the bag around and read the ingredients list. And there they were, tiny words that most people overlook. Sodium phosphate, monocalcium phosphate, potassium chloride. I froze. Those little additives, the ones hiding behind complicated names, were the very things my doctor warned me about months ago. Phosphate additives. They were everywhere. That day, I learned one of the most important lessons of my life. The front of the package sells comfort. The back of the package tells the truth. I thought about my friend Linda, a 9-year-old retired nurse who prided herself on eating clean. Her pantry was full of organic cereals and oat clusters, premium brands, the kind that cost more but made you feel safe. And yet, during her routine checkup, her lab results showed rising phosphorus levels and declining kidney function. She couldn't understand why, until her dietitian pointed it out. Every healthy snack she loved was packed with phosphate additives and over 200 milligrams of sodium per serving. These additives are dangerous because your body absorbs them almost completely. Unlike natural phosphorus from foods like beans or grains, inorganic phosphates from additives flood directly into your bloodstream. They push your phosphorus levels up faster than your kidneys can filter them out. Over time, that buildup can damage bones, blood vessels, and of course, the kidneys themselves. When Linda stopped buying processed oat snacks and switched to plain rolled oats, she took back control. She started making her own granola at home, simple, honest ingredients: oats, unsalted seeds, cinnamon, and a few dried cranberries for sweetness. It took her just 10 minutes to bake a batch that lasted all week. Within months, her phosphorus dropped, her kidney function stabilized, and she told me she finally trusted her food again. I followed her lead. Now, I read every label before anything goes into my cart. If an ingredient ends with phos, I put it back. If the sodium is higher than 150 milligrams per serving, it's a no. That tiny act, turning the box around, has probably done more for my health than any supplement I've ever taken. Because in the end, protecting your kidneys isn't just about avoiding big mistakes. It's about catching the small ones, the ones that hide in the fine print. So next time you're in the grocery aisle, don't just look at the pretty words on the front. Flip it over. Read what's written in small letters. Those few seconds of attention can save you years of good health. We've now uncovered the 5 most common oatmeal mistakes, the ones that can slowly drain your kidneys without you even realizing it. But don't worry, it's not all warnings and restrictions. Because once you understand the dangers, you gain the power to do better. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly how to keep oatmeal in your life safely, deliciously, and in a way that truly supports your body. Part 3. How to eat oatmeal the right way. After all those lessons, all the trial and error, the lab tests, the tired mornings, I finally stopped asking myself, is oatmeal bad for me? And started asking, how can I make oatmeal love my kidneys back? That's the shift that changed everything. You see, the goal isn't to abandon oatmeal. It's to rebuild the relationship with awareness, balance, and respect for what your body can handle now. Because the truth is, oatmeal can still be one of the most comforting, nourishing breakfasts in the world. You just need to learn how to prepare it right. Here's how I do it now and how you can too. Step 1. Choose the right oats. Forget instant packets. Look for rolled oats or steel-cut oats with only one ingredient on the label: whole oats. No flavors, no sugar, no additives. These take a few more minutes to cook, but they're pure, slow, and gentle on your body like nature intended. I remember the first morning I switched. I poured the oats into a small pot, added water instead of milk, and let them simmer quietly. The scent wasn't as sweet as before, but there was something honest about it, something that felt right. It reminded me that simplicity is a kind of wisdom. Step 2. Cook with kidney-friendly liquids. Water works perfectly, but if you want creaminess, try unsweetened almond milk or oat milk, as long as it has no added phosphates. Avoid cow's milk, soy milk, or protein-fortified versions. They pack extra minerals your kidneys don't need. Step 3. Pick gentle toppings. This is where most people go wrong. Instead of bananas, peanut butter, or raisins, try sliced apples, pears, or blueberries. They're lower in potassium but still bring sweetness and fiber. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon, nutmeg, or vanilla extract for warmth and aroma. They wake up your senses without stressing your body. Sometimes, I add a tiny drizzle of honey or a few chia seeds for texture. Just a little, because now I know a little is enough. Step 4. Control your portions. Half a cup of dry oats, that's all you need. Cooked, it becomes a satisfying, filling meal without overwhelming your kidneys. I used to eat double that amount, thinking more meant better nutrition. But now, I realize balance is smarter than abundance. And honestly, I enjoy it more when I don't finish the bowl out of guilt. Step 5. Don't eat it every day. I used to think routine was discipline. Now I know it can also be blindness. Your kidneys need variety, just like your mind does. So I rotate my breakfasts. Oatmeal 2 or 3 times a week. And on other days, I'll have rice porridge with vegetables, boiled eggs with fruit, or plain yogurt with oats sprinkled on top. That rhythm gives my body space to breathe. I realize that health isn't about perfection, it's about partnership. Between you and your body, between your choices and your years of experience, you've carried your organs this far. Now it's time to carry them with care, and if you do, I promise your morning bowl will no longer drain your kidneys. It will heal them. But before we close, there's one more truth I want to leave with you, a truth about gratitude, and about finally learning to listen to the body that's never stopped working for you. Conclusion. A bowl, a lesson, and a promise. When I look back now, I smile at how much I didn't know. I thought I was doing everything right, eating healthy, staying active, being careful. But health isn't a set of rules. It's a relationship, one that changes with time and demands that we change with it. Oatmeal didn't hurt me. My habits did. The milk I added without thinking. The toppings I piled on for extra nutrition. Extra nutrition. The instant packets I trusted. The oversized portions I called discipline. In a no sting and new head to rebented, skilted, and the labels I never bothered to read. They were all small, innocent choices until they weren't. Now, every time I prepare my oats, I pause for a moment. I stir slowly, breathe in the quiet steam, and feel grateful. Grateful for the kidneys that have filtered every heartbeat of my life. Grateful for the second chance to treat them gently. And I want that same peace for you. If you're past 60, or if you love someone who is, don't abandon oatmeal. Just learn to meet it halfway. Let it love your heart and your kidneys. Let it serve you, not strain you. And if this story helped you, share it. Because somewhere out there, someone you care about might be eating the same breakfast. And slowly, unknowingly, tiring the organs that have carried them through a lifetime.